Good morning, everyone. This is Judith A. Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, I have had, as you all know, if you listen, I've had a very interesting 2026 so far. We're in the middle of May almost. I think we'll be mid-May next week. Mother's Day is Sunday. As my Uncle Booker used to say, happy birthday. Listen to me. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. And I don't know, just because he was older, I guess I thought it was funny. But anyway, happy Mother's Day to those of you who are mothers, and to those of you who have moms, and to those of you who don't. One of my friends called to check on me yesterday, and it's so sweet. Now she was like, I know Mother's Day is Sunday. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. And it's not like I'm not thinking about it, but I'm not sitting here wringing my hands and crying all day. I mean, I miss my mom every day. And when you have your mom with you, every day is Mother's Day. It is. Just like when I was a little kid, I used to talk to my dad all the time. I'd be like, when is Kids Day? And he was like, every day is Kids Day. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I miss her tremendously, but I'm not sad. She was sick for a long time. That disease was brutal, but we had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of fun. We bonded, and that's my girl, and I'll always miss my girl. I can't wait to see her again. I see her a lot in my dreams. Sometimes she doesn't talk at all. Sometimes she's complaining because that was her. And sometimes she's just sweet and standing there and just being supportive. And I feel like that's who she is in my life now. I definitely feel her energy. Like I said, I dream about her all the time. And I felt her energy over my shoulder when my brother was starting to transition, because there was something getting me up out of the bed, and I wasn't trying to get up, and I could just feel her like, are you just gonna let him lay over there? So I had to get up all the time, And I told you, maybe I didn't tell the podcast this, but I think she came back in spirit in December, because I have a nightlight. We had a nightlight in our hallway in between our bedrooms, and it only comes on if you walk in front of it. It's motion activated. So one night I just stood up. I was having a hot flash or something. I stood up and I went into my doorway and I looked down the hall and that light was on. So, I spent the rest of the week trying to figure out, how to activate it from my doorway, which is impossible. It's never been done. And so, of course, I was like, hey, Ma, she was in front. She was there. And I think he had started his decline, his final decline then. And I'm glad my sister and my nephew got to see him, because at that time, he had pneumonia again. It was just rough. So anyway, not to get off onto that, there are plenty of episodes dedicated to my brother and his many, many ailments. But, I do miss my mom. But I know she's been here, and I know she's been, the wind beneath my wings, if you will. Started working. I edited video the majority of the last 2 days. The new video is out. It's on a channel called Halo-less Decoded. It's off to a promising start. There's going to be a lot of very interesting topics covered. And basically, it tracks the moves of the kind of evil. And we are immersed and surrounded by a ton of evil people. I was watching Thomas Massie this morning on Tucker Carlson, and AIPAC is really trying to keep him out of his returning to his job as a congressman. They really want him out. But, kudos to him. He's brave. He's clearly frustrated and disappointed in Trump, which I don't understand these people. I don't understand people who can still look at modern politics and choose a side when it's clearly been decided that two-party politics is basically the same thing. They're doing the same things. They may have different suitors and different companies that they favor, but they're all the same. They're in the same gang, and we're not in it. And he has fought vehemently to get these Epstein files released. And his point is, why are we protecting pedophiles? And so then you have to ask the bigger question. Okay, well, it obviously didn't start with Jeffrey Epstein. So this pedophilia, this obvious ownership of our government by foreign countries or a foreign country, like all of that is not new. So what is actually happening? And why are we so complicit and not saying anything? Apparently the bill he wrote to release the files goes into perpetuity. It doesn't matter who's in office. That bill is stating you need to release the files whenever you release them. And they have just steadfastly not done that. They've just broken the law. And you have to ask yourselves, well, why would someone protect these awful, horrible people? We all know Trump's in the files. We know it. He's in a lot of them. He appears, quite a few times. So does Bill Clinton. So they don't want you to know the extent of their depravity. But also, I think there's compromat, which is code for blackmail. That's already been out and been used. And so I think they're also doing things that are ritualistic, that are evil, that are satanic. I think people don't want their, satanic tendencies to be exposed. But it's too late. We already know. And so if this isn't convincing you that we're in spiritual warfare, I don't know what you need. Because it's obvious. It's obvious. And so Haloless is going to uncover a lot of very interesting things. There will be no halos given. These are not people who deserve your halo, your attention, or your time. And I'm excited to work on this project with that team. And let's just make this a super successful, interesting YouTube channel. It'll probably suffer the fate of most great channels, which is some of the things will not be monetized. It's a long way from that. We've only got like 3 subscribers or 2 subscribers, but it's gonna grow because this is a fresh perspective, and it's needed. People have forgotten all this stuff. The first video is about Enron. People have forgotten, but where does this money go? When you file a $74 billion bankruptcy, that's a vacuum. Where does that money, who generates the money to fill that vacuum? This is a company that has shareholders, had investors, had employees who owned several thousand shares of stock that they thought was valuable, and now they had no retirement. What kind of long-term ramifications does that have on an economy? And it's like, in my mind, I'm old enough to remember when it happened, and I was shocked. And I'm starting to think that was the beginning of big fraud, when it wasn't just, oh, we caught somebody red-handed and they were running a Ponzi scheme of X amount of dollars. This was like huge fraud, billions with a B, right? It's like, how do you lose that kind of money? And then everybody's just like, do. There are people who were in the executive team that just cashed out their stocks and went on to live their lives. They didn't get prosecuted. They didn't go to prison. And they just cashed out $250 million and just went on to live their lives, which parallels who? Jeffrey Epstein. He should have been stopped long ago. He was a partner in a Ponzi scheme, and the guy didn't rat on him. That guy went to prison, and Jeffrey kept his millions and began to matriculate in these circles and charm and finesse people, and started this thing, whatever I don't even know what you call that. He just was blackmailing the shit out of people. And I don't even think he was the boss of that organization. He was a worker. And people don't want to expose him anymore, because then you will start to realize he was procuring these children, procuring these women, doing all of these things on the behest of someone higher than him, right? Because he clearly wasn't a boss. He was a runner. He was out there working. He wasn't the sole, and he wasn't the only person doing this. And he wasn't like the boss. So the fact that he worked with the Rothschilds, the fact that they're just celebrating evil out in the open. You have to use your discernment. I finally went back and watched the end of Billions. I watched the whole series. It's basically the tale of two series. Damian Lewis had to leave the show because his wife got sick and died. And his wife was the amazing Aunt Paul on Peaky Blinders. And she got sick and she died in real life. And so instead of ending the series there when he left, which they should have, they went on with this Michael Prince guy. And it became a different show. I mean, the first 5 seasons had a whole different vibe. So when it went off originally, I just stopped watching it. When Damien left, I stopped watching. Just like when Michael left The Office, I didn't watch. It took me a long time to catch the following 2 seasons, which are not great. And the show just is not the same without Michael. And so the same can be said for Billions without Bobby Axelrod. And then they made changes to Chuck, and I guess he cured his BDSM issues. I don't know. The show was totally different. And I finally saw the last 2 seasons over the last few weeks. And, it wasn't great. It wasn't anything special. If you loved the first version of the show, this didn't do much for you. But, it makes you realize that billionaires really are in a league of their own. They're in their own stratosphere. They do believe they have their own laws because they are able to buy whatever they need, including judges and buying off victims and buying off witnesses. And so it's a curious world. There are 2 systems of justice, and they're telling us all about it in shows like that, because they also had an owl show, and House of Cards also had some place where they went into the woods, Elysian Fields, and discussed all these things political, and it goes back to the Bohemian Grove. They're telling us that these things happen, which makes me incline less and less to vote, because I don't believe our votes matter. I think these people decide who they want to win, and then they sell us on the idea, and they make it seem like it's such a close race that the person that they vetted and wanted and picked actually won. That's how you get the Hillary Clinton scenario, which looks like someone with the most public facing momentum. You think they're the winner, and then Donald Trump comes up and he's the winner. But these things were decided long before we voted. She had all the momentum, but nobody liked her. And I'm sure this cabal of people who go to these things don't care for her. And she was not a great candidate. There's something polarizing about her. The way the Clintons talked about Obama, but then needed Obama to come out and bless their campaign. And don't get me wrong, I used to be a huge Barack Obama fan, but the more I read about him, the more I'm disappointed. The more facts like the fact that he bombed more brown people than anybody. I guess Trump is catching up, but you know what I mean. This is sad. These people have an agenda, and it ain't for us. So just keep your wits about you. Pay attention. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to Google the shit for yourself and figure out how you feel about it. And then you decide. I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm here to try to get people to think and open their minds and realize that while this may seem like the biggest shit show, dumpster fire going on planet Earth right now, there's also a lot of beauty And in many real ways, it's one of the best times in the world to be alive because we can change things. We can change things. It's exciting to know that people don't care about the Met Gala, that people can't stand celebrities. These people have been propped up for you to worship and idolize. And clearly, that has been one of the things we're never supposed to do. But we've done it because we've been taught and brainwashed that these people are somehow better than us. They're smarter than us. They're more capable than us. But they're not. Nobody is more interesting than you are. And you came here to do something great. And let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, what are we waiting on? Turn your television off. Stop doom scrolling. Stop following these people. They're not interesting and they're not, most of the time, good people. And that's what they don't want you to know. They don't want you to figure out that, oh, people have been fucking kids or killing kids or raping people and doing all kinds of horrible things. Allegedly. I don't know this stuff factually, but when you read those Epstein files, they're disturbing. Bill Gates is a weirdo and a pervert. And if you like 13 and 14-year-old quote unquote models, what's happening? You're a pervert. If you were a regular schmo, you would be in jail on your way to prison. So open your eyes, pay attention, but don't let that keep you from having a great life. Enjoy the people that you enjoy. Just stop paying attention and giving your time and energy, because that's what they really need to thrive, is your energy. If you keep it to yourself and only share your energy with people you love who love you, you've already won. That's slaying the dragon right there. So enjoy this Friday, May 8th. Be safe, be well. I appreciate your time so much. Please check out Refuel. Top 20. We're in the top 20% of opens right now. I appreciate all of the support. It's Refuel by Faith and Gasoline at beehive.com. BEEHIIV.com. It's free, but I really wish you would sign up and join our subscriber list. We're going to be adding some new features. We're going to be doing many cool things with that. And we're just here to help and try to help you build a community and try to help you be prepared for the next chapter that's coming for your loved ones, parents, uncles, aunts, spouses, all of that. It's important to pay attention to the details. Go ahead and follow Halo Less Decoded on YouTube. We appreciate that support. I've enjoyed working on those projects. I think the audience will be appreciative and it's going to grow exponentially. So get in early. Thank you for supporting this podcast. I love you, and please be well. Please be safe. We'll meet back here next week. Thank you, God, and thank you.